Hello everybody, I'm Grizzly Adam and welcome back to Space Engineers. So I have been working, flame burst in my face. So I've been working and, save that for a second. I finished my station, more or less. At least got the bulk of it done. I got all the floor done. I have cargo containers, refineries. Down here I've got the arc furnaces, assemblers, and a bunch of more cargo containers. And then on this end I've got my, don't show that. I've got some turrets. So I have been working. Flame burst in my face. So I've been working, and save that for a second. I finished my station, more or less. At least got the bulk of it done. I got all the floor done. I have cargo containers, refineries. Down here I've got the arc furnaces, assemblers, and a bunch of more cargo containers. And then on this end I've got my, don't show that. I've got some turrets, basically defending myself from this direction. And, oops,
Your
ow.
health is low.
Ow, that hurt. Okay, well we'll circle around because I don't want to show that off just yet. So,
Meteor storm inbound.
oh man, meteor storm. Let's hide under here. Let's hide. Yeah, I still need to finish like this wall and stuff. Same with the bottom and same with this side. Still haven't quite figured out how I want to do that because I don't know if I want to kind of have it wrap around, not like wrap around, but like kind of taper off, or have like a semicircle or something. I'm not quite sure yet. And let's see. Got my reactors. I got this. I need to put a gravity generator on this thing, because so that way I can actually turn my jetpack off. But unfortunately, I haven't had time to do that yet, and haven't had the motivation because this thing is so long. I would need multiple gravity generators, and so, yeah. Let's see what else. Let's back up for a second, slowly, carefully, without hurting myself. So I upgraded my welding ship. No, actually, the reason why there's so many of these is because of the thing that's right behind me. It made it a lot easier. I'm going to do a total redesign of all of my little ships because they're kind of all obsolete in a sense, that they're just, I have a new design I want to go with. Like, I finally created a design. Well, I finally found an inspiration so that I can create a design. So I have a general idea of how I want things to look now, and so I'm going to build the new ships and then demolish these old ones. And yeah, so let me explain this giant tube, this purple thing, what this thing is, so on and why I added all that. So let's it's easiest to start with this guy. This guy right here is if I turn this back on, is a projector. Okay? What a projector does is it takes your blueprints, okay, and it projects them, and then you use the welding ship to build them. So what I did is I went into creative, I made a brand new empty world, just completely empty, went into creative, and built a ship. And so, and that in itself, just building the ship that's right behind me, building the ship itself in creative took 8 hours or so, because I was modeling it after a picture that I found online. It's on some, I don't remember the guy's name, but it's on a guy's DeviantArt page. And so I will actually put a picture and a link to his page in the description, because I want to, give him credit for, the inspiration. And so I built it in creative, and it took like many hours. Then I had to build it in here, and it takes even long. Well, it probably took about as long, because I already had the design done, so I don't have to worry about that. But to get the supplies, put in the welding ship, and weld it. And the thing is, I couldn't just do it all in one go. The welding ship only has so much cargo space, so I had to do, and I actually had to make all the stuff too. I think it took over 1 million steel plates. So I had to make like 1 million steel plates, load them up, and this thing holds, how much does it hold again in steel plates? I don't know if I actually have, no, this thing's I think is almost empty. Oh, it is empty. I don't have any cargo in here. Let's see, do I have any steel plates? I got 1,000. Oh, here we go. Well, it's about halfway filled, and I've got 44, so I think it holds like 90,000. So almost 100,000. Almost 100,000. And I had to use about 1 million. So I had to do at least 10 trips back to this thing to fill it up. Plus I had all the other things like displays and computers and thruster components and interior plates and construction components all in my other, cargo. So it took a long time. Just go back and forth and make all this stuff and all that. So anyways, so I've got the projector. It projects the ship that I made in creative. And then you actually have to hook it up to an existing structure. You can't just have it floating in free space. So I just made this little thing right here, and I attached the nose of it right onto here, so then I could build it back this way. Okay? And then this tube right here is, I've got some conveyors on it for the turrets, so that it can actually have some self-defense. And so that, if I'm flying around in space and meteors come, it can shoot down the meteors itself. So I wanted to hook it up to that because it's so long that it actually ended up popping out into the sun here, and I needed it to defend itself so I didn't have to keep fixing holes and stuff. And the reason why I added all these welders is because it made the welding job so much faster, because I could basically do large chunks at a time. And what I did is I sat in the front, faced basically the way I'm facing now, turned on the welders, and then just backed up, just absolutely straight. And I could do just rows of it at a time, and just huge chunks at a time. And it sped it up a little bit, so that helps. So now, let's do the grand reveal. Let's get over here. I think this will get at least pretty close to the full look of it. So this, like I said, this was inspired by a guy on DeviantArt, which I will link the page in the description. And it took a long time to build, and I'm very, very proud of it. And it's going to be the general design for the rest of my ships. So, here we go. Drumroll, please. Ta-da! Almost got the whole thing. There you go. That is my new ship. I actually don't have a beacon on it, so you can't see what it's called. Plus, I don't really know exactly what it's called. But this is it. It has a little holder right here, so I can hold my drill ship, which I'm also going to replace with the design that I've got in my head, which basically incorporates a lot of this thing, kind of these kind of slight overhangs, these glass windows, the kind of the flat face, these little spikes, stuff like that. That's kind of the idea that I'm going with. This color scheme. I know it's just a gray, but I tried a lot of color schemes, and honestly, the gray looked the best with the yellow striping, which the yellow striping and the gray actually were both what was in the picture. I did the striping a little bit differently than what the picture had, and this thing doesn't look exactly like the picture, but you can tell it's heavily inspired. Let's turn that off. So it holds this. It's got a little hanger right there where I can put some of the littler ships. So yeah, so we'll go through the grand tour. I've got turrets and the conveyors all up the side so it can defend itself. I've got a turret there, and then the mirrored, you know, basically take a line down the very center of it. So it's got one there, and on the other wing, there and there. And there's actually one, you can see the little laser coming out barely. There's one right there behind would be the bridge. I don't know exact terminology on ships, but I believe the bridge is the command center. I think it's the same thing. Or maybe the bridge is the thing leading to the command center. Something like that. I don't quite remember. I'll have to look it up. I've got some rocket launchers on the front in case if somehow I come up on another ship, I can just shoot some rockets at it. Let's see. Got these little lights. This was kind of inspired by the picture, plus it looks kind of cool because it's shining onto this ship in the middle. Underneath, let's go underneath of this real quick. Underneath, I have these merge blocks, and what these merge blocks do, they're off right now because when you turn them on, it actually physically combines the two ships, and it effectively makes the two ships one ship. So it becomes one singular ship when you merge it together. And then you can unmerge it and it's all good. But that's what the purpose of the merge blocks are. Right now I've got them separated. I got cameras right here so I can dock this guy into this little I don't really know what to call it. A little bowl, little holder. So I can dock it in a little bit easier. Okay. Let's head on down. I've got conveyor system down here, so I can hook it up and then convey the stuff back. So then let's head up, and we can turn jetpack off because we got gravity starting right about here. So then here is this little hangar, so I can put the little ships. And then down, we'll go down first. Down here is another little, I guess, entry bay. I can fly in from the back and I can carefully come up and then sit up there, or I can also have stuff sitting down here. So it's kind of just another little platform that's kind of cool looking. Oh, I forgot I had spotlights back here. I'm probably going to change the color of these spotlights to like red, so that when from the back it looks almost like, you know, the tail lights of a car. And then, oh, I can sprint. I forgot about that. So then, let's see, let's head up this way. So we came down from there, and then there's this thing, and we're gonna head up this way. And then in here, I have a bunch of cargo containers. A couple refineries. I think I got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have, I think, 2 arc furnaces, 1 on each side. And then I've got, I think, 3 assemblers. Something like that. Just a little bit of stuff to help refine, you know, things from the big drill ship. I've got some interior thrusters just because I needed to add more thrusters, and this seemed like the best place for it. It didn't end up hurting anything. So I've got an access port right here. What else? A bunch of gyroscopes. That whole entire wall in the back is covered in gyroscopes. It makes this thing pretty decent. I feel like I could add more and make this thing really nimble, but at the same time, it's a big ship, so I can understand it not being super nimble. One thing I will explain about the cargo containers is thinking, why did you use a bunch of small ones? Why didn't you just use big ones? First off, the big ones, I couldn't really like tile them in here that well. And the other reason is because each cargo container, large one, is 3 by 3 by 3. Okay? So 3 times 3 is 9. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So each layer is 9. And there's 3 layers, so 9 times 3 is 27. So it takes 27 small ones, take up the same space as one large one. Oh, there's just a save, that's why it was glitchy right there. As one large one. These guys actually hold, I don't remember the exact percentage, but basically ends up being that 27 of these versus one of the big ones, I can hold, I think, like 5 times more stuff. Something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but you can hold more stuff with the small cargo containers in the same amount of space as the large one. So I'm actually going to probably end up replacing all of those large cargo containers I have over there with the small ones. There goes the turrets. Oh, I've got a couple turrets back there too. Okay. Running down and run back up. I could jetpack around, but I feel like running around. I've got a bunch of entry doors, so I can enter from all different areas. And then, so then this door right here kind of gets into more of the passenger type area. So over here, it's just a giant thing. I'll probably put something here, maybe like a small ship or something kind of on display, almost like a kind of like a showroom sort of thing. Or I might decorate it with something else. I've got these giant windows so I can see out. Let's see what else. A bunch of lights to help light this place up. 2 med bays, just because I wanted to keep things symmetrical, even though the med bays aren't actually symmetrical. I wanted to have them on here. Let's, how's my energy doing? Oh, energy's getting low. Let's fill up real quick. Let's wait around. I wish there was a way that you could like instantly fill up. Just kind of like you plug yourself in, you charge up real fast, then you can unplug. But anyways, let's see. Okay, so then up here, and then get into this passage. I've got it set up right now, so you have to turn your jetpack on. I kind of want to set it up so I got these little tiny gravity fields, so that I like it shoots me up. Put like a sensor or something, so that when I get in here, it launches me up, and I go basically just go, and then it like slows me down, and then I'm like right here, and I'm kind of floating, and then I can just like walk forward out. Because also, if I just fall down, I'll take a lot of damage. But anyways, something to think about, something to try out with this stuff. So then over here, more little entries. This is the first little, I don't really know exactly what to call it, but first little overhang, you know, another viewing area. It's a lot smaller than the one downstairs, but it's the forward-facing one as opposed to the rear-facing one. Got my gravity generator here. This seemed like the best place because it's the most central to everything. And then, let's turn that back off. Then if you head back here, and then we will shoot our way up. There we go. And this is the command center, which I think is actually called the bridge, but I'm not quite sure. And then you got the view of the whole front of the ship, can basically see everything, you know, looking out. This is actually the command station itself. I've got little ones off to the side just because, you know, if it was a real ship, you wouldn't just have one of these. You'd have, you know, multiple for your crew members to sit at and control different things. You know, just basically like, Captain, our warp drive engine is failing. Send somebody down to engineering, and then somebody runs down and heads over to engineering or whatever. Stuff like that. And then I have a little, I guess it's kind of a secret passageway, but it's really not. A little passageway back here, which basically is a door into the back. And then I don't have a door into it, but this connector right here leads into the reactors. There's 2 reactors in this little chunk. There's one right here, and then one right here. Basically, I was trying to figure out the best way to fit the reactors in, and I was looking at the diagram that what my inspiration is off of, and there's like this little thing back here, and I was like, that's a perfect place for the reactors. Thought about having it in that little bay down there, but I needed something to go back here, and so I decided to put these back here. And I've just got a connector right here so I can access the reactors. So that's pretty much about it for this guy. Yeah, most of this episode has been explaining this guy, but I'm really proud of it. I've spent, I would easily say 15 hours from start to finish of this thing, with slight iterations in between. Like, it wasn't, you know, all 15 hours was spent building this, but I would say, you know, I made like little mock-ups, just skeletons and stuff, but then, you know, so from start to finish of the first skeleton to finishing welding the last block. Oh, I just remembered. This guy is not finished. I actually think I've got a couple blocks in here not finished, but that's fine. I'll have to finish this at some point. What do I need? Metal grids. That's all I need. Okay, metal grids. I'll have to remember that. So, that is this ship. The reason why I built this ship is mainly to hold that guy, but also for the little hangars so I can put the little ships in. Mainly the welding ship so that I can go and, you know, heal both of these in case a meteor does get through the turrets. The other reason is because even though I have this station, I kind of want to get away from it. I want to actually go off into space, just off somewhere, and explore. Oop, almost hit that. That would have hurt quite a bit. Yeah, off explore, try and find little ships in the exploration mode, try and find little abandoned ones and stuff. So that's something that I want to do. Oops, camera. That's not what I wanted. There we go. And let's jump in this guy. Fix this guy back up after I cannibalized him for a time. Come on. There you go. So, another thing, real quick about like this little guy. You can see his max speed, where is it? On the right hand side, is 104.7. They added something so that you can increase the max speed of ships. And I'm thinking about doing that, especially so that my like little ship, especially this guy, can go super fast. I kind of want to, but at the same time, I don't really want to ruin it because I've heard that it causes issues. But I don't know. I'll think about it. Ooh, almost bugged out there. So I need to make another ship, and it'll be modeled similar after. Ooh, wiggle. It'll be modeled similar after this one, but it'll look totally different. But it'll be same kind of general design and look and stuff. It'll feel like it's part of the same fleet, and it's gonna hold. Man, why is it so wiggly? It's gonna hold pretty much all of that stuff right there. I'm gonna transplant almost all that into a ship. I'm going to leave all of these plates and the base of the station itself. I'll put like a beacon on it so that if I'm ever flying by again, if somehow, by some miracle, I fly by this thing again, I can see, oh, hey, that's where I was. But kind of want to be more mobile. One problem with that, though, is, I've got this big ship, and I'm planning on making another big ship. How am I going to actually get these things to fly, like, as one giant unit? That's the one thing I'm kind of concerned about. I still got to figure it out, and I have a couple ideas. Some of them have to do with the programming blocks and trying to basically program all of these guys, well, basically my fleet that I'm going to make, to face the same direction, and maybe make like some sort of like formation, and then all I have to do is maybe be like being like a scout ship or something, and then as I push forward, the rest of them push forward. But somehow put some checks and balances so that, because this thing, I push forward, and within a couple seconds, I'm going max speed. Okay? Well, I push forward on that guy, and within a couple minutes, I hit max speed. So, I gotta figure out some way to move all of these guys as one fleet, same speed, going through space for exploration. But that's something to think about for another time. It's not something I'm too worried about right now, because I have to make the fleet first. Plus, I want to I'm probably going to end up doing is carving out a big chunk of this again. I don't know, maybe like a chunk like that. Put down a grinder array so that I can get I can take that guy out, the business shipment, find the exploration ships, bring them back, and then shove them in the grinder, grind them down for parts, and then, yeah, so basically resource gathering, but instead of mining asteroids, I'm mining ships that I find. Let's see, I think that's pretty much about it. Let's see, showed this guy off. Showed off the rest of my station. Talked about my future plans for space exploration. Talked about my future plans for taking a chunk out of this, putting a grinding array so I can take these guys out. I actually have to build a fighter ship. That's probably my next thing, is a fighter ship. So that way I can go and take these guys out, bring them back, and then I can see how big my grinder array needs to be. So, fighter ship's probably going to be the next thing. Or maybe not quite the fighter ship, but maybe like these little guys.
Storm inbound.
Ah! You just remember, let's kind of get in safety. Replace these guys with their new versions, the Mark IIs, which I'm probably going to drop the Marks. Maybe. We'll see. It depends on how I feel. Yeah, redo these guys so that they look better and actually match that big guy. That one's going to be a task in itself, the Mega Drill. I'm probably going to do all of my shipbuilding now in creative, and then come through with the projector and build it. Honestly, like that's probably the easiest way to do it. Because that way I can build, and then tear apart, and then build some more, and tear apart, and then I'm not, I'm still spending hours and hours building, but, it takes me 5 hours to build a ship instead of 10, because with this, I have to place the block, weld it, place the next block, weld it, place the next block, weld it. Oh, I didn't like that. I grind it all down. Place this block and weld it. While in creative, you can just go build, 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 and it's automatically 100% completed. You just build, 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 And I didn't like that. Delete, delete. Build, build, build. Delete. Build, delete, delete. Build, 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 build. And it's just so much faster, and you can see it completed, and you don't have to worry about the welding time and the grinding time. It's just instant build, instant delete. And then I can just, like I said, pop it in the projector, and then display it, and then weld it with my new with this ship or the new ship or whatever. And then it's done. So I still have the welding time, and I still have the building time, but I'm taking a lot of that fluff out of, you know, just sitting there, you know, building one at a time. I can build multiple at a time. Plus, the reason why that looks so good is because I was able to enable symmetry mode. And so I could basically, and why it took half the time it probably could have taken, is because I was able to just put a line down the middle, pretty much where that yellow stripe is, you know, on that one, and then where that gray stripe is, and so on and so forth, and then build from that, because it's a mirror. So when I place a block here, you know, right here, it placed the exact same block over there. And so it ends up being a lot easier to build when you're in symmetry mode in creative. So that's my plan. That's gonna be how I do things from this point forward when it comes to shipbuilding. Unless if it's just like a little ship. Like if I'm deciding, oh, I want to make a new little scout ship, I might just make it in here. But I probably just do it in the creative. And I you know, a lot of that stuff I've cut out. You don't see me doing that stuff anymore. Or actually, I don't think ever. I think all my stuff is just more like show and tell episodes. Oh, look what I built. Oh, look what I built. Look what this looks like. Stuff like that. Which kind of, I think, makes it more fun. At least for me. Because, you know, it's not like I have 10 episodes of, you know, 10 30-minute episodes of me just placing a block, welding. Placing a block, welding. Because that would get very, very boring. This way, you get to see, oh, this is what I've been working on for the past 10, 15 hours. Ta-da! And I show you around, and then, you know, so on and so forth. More entertaining for you guys, a lot easier for me. And so, that's how I'm doing this. So, I think that's about it. At least that's all I can think about for now. So, what my goal is... Ooh, I got hit. Fix that. What my goal is for episode, like, releases, and making these episodes, is I want to try and... Strobe lights. I want to try and do an episode every week, but that might be a little... trying to think of the right word. Can't think of it, but it might be a little difficult. It's not the exact word I was looking for, but it's close enough. It might be a little difficult to make an episode every week, just because, you know, I've got other videos that I'm making, and this in itself, from start to finish, although it took me, you know, 15 hours or so, but I couldn't spend 15 hours in one sitting. I didn't do that in one sitting. I broke it up over about a week. It took me about a week from start to finish to make this. So a week might work, but at the same time, a week might not be long enough. So it might be like every week and a half or 2 weeks. Especially once I start exploring, and it's just space. I might not get a whole lot done in a week's amount of time. So that's what I'm thinking for this. I will give you a quick update though. From the last episode to this episode, I think last episode I had like 80, 90 hours. And this episode I think I'm at, you know, you'd think it'd be plus, you know, 15, 20. But no, it's actually like, I'm at like 140 now. Because building time. Plus, I had to do a lot of troubleshooting for my world. That's another thing. Let me mention really quickly. I do a lot of troubleshooting for my world over the past couple days because if I hit Shift H, no, Control H. There you go. Control H. Hit Control H. It brings up. You can see what my. It's like a network thing, but you can see there's that UPS and FPS. FPS is frames per second. That's pretty regular. That's something that a lot of, or almost every single game shows you is what your frames are. UPS is updates per second, which is how many times the game itself updates its physics. Like, when I push forward, it's like, okay, well, you're applying thrust, and you're moving in this direction, and it updates that 60 times per second. Okay? Well, for a time, I was down to 30. And I couldn't figure out why. And I was thinking, because it was right about the time when I finished building this ship. And so I was thinking, oh man, this ship, it's too laggy. I can't have it on my world. It's just too laggy. Like I had in Creative World, but there's no asteroids, there's no other ships, no station, there's nothing else, just this guy. And so I was thinking, oh, okay, it's probably fine on that, but it's laggy on this because I've got all these other things. But that's not what it was. It was these guys. I have, you can see I've got one right there. And I think that's it. I think that's the only one I have in my world right now is that guy. Or at least though I can see. And he's getting farther away right now. But there's other ones that fly around and stuff. I had like 60 or 70 of these guys. And some of them, he's 7,000 meters, 7 kilometers. Okay, so 7 kilometers. Okay? At 10 kilometers, he's going to disappear. I had ones out to 300. I had like 10 of those out of 300. I had a big handful around 50 and 70. And then I had a bunch at like 15. But I had like a total of like 60, 70 of these guys. And what I had to do is I actually had to open this thing called SE Toolbox, Space Engineer's Toolbox, and delete them. And then once I deleted them, my UPS was back up at 60. Well, actually, what it was is there were so many of them that everything was in like slow motion, and my UPS was down at 30. I think I forgot to mention that. It was down at like 30, and so it made things really slow motion because it was only updating in half time instead of full time, and so it was making things very, very unbearable. But it's fine now because I deleted a bunch of them, and if I ever get to that point again where things are starting to lag, I know what to do. And this mostly had to do with one of the recent patches where I guess these guys stopped despawning. Oh, UPS dropped because that guy showed up. He just spawned. Okay, he spawned, my UPS dropped. Okay, now imagine these guys just spawning over and over and over and over again and not going away. It's gonna drop your UPS. It's gonna drop the physics. And so once I deleted them, everything was fine because they weren't here anymore. And this guy is about to disappear. Well, he's not going to disappear. He's just going to go out of antenna range. Boom, right there. After 10,000, you don't see them anymore. Sorry, that was Dora. I must have gotten a package. You don't see them anymore, but he's still out there. So eventually, I'm going to have to go back in SE Toolbox and delete him because I'm not going to go after him because I don't know where he is anymore. If I'm going to take these guys out, I'm going to take that one out because I can see him. And then there's going to be another one over there later, and then over there later, and then I'll take them out. So, if you have lag and your UPS is below, let's say below 50, Because even then, like 50 to 60, there's not a huge visual difference. But below 50, you're going to really start seeing problems. And it's because of these guys. Most likely. Most likely. You might have other issues. Like if you have too many of these big ships, then it might cause issues. I might run into that if I make too many of these big ships. But for now, I'm fine. So, anyways, I know I rambled for quite a long time, an extra 10 minutes. I was planning on ending this about 10 minutes ago. But I really wanted to explain... Whoops. Why did I jump? That was weird. F?